3, 2, 1, and we're live.
Hey guys.
Is your volume all the way up? Where's your volume?
I don't know. Is it up?
No, we can go higher.
Crank us up.
Alright, okay, I think we're at max.
Turn the ringer up. Alright, it's always a fun time here. Always fun intro.
So, this is going to be your first episode before you leave.
I mean, let's be honest, it's gonna be
You're going to be going to Iowa, Deb.
Yeah, great times.
Would you like to talk about the difference between the type of school you're at now and the type of school you're going to? The NAIA?
Yes, you think they can pick me up from right here?
I think you should get closer because we're not the best at enunciating, as we learned.
Well, obviously, spending the past 2 seasons in Division II, obviously, you know, the NCAA's mission statement is make your own. They try to do a perfect balance of student athletes and being the student and just the athlete itself. Now, I don't know nothing.
Alright, so
I just know it's its own government body. That's about it.
would you like to tell the difference between that and a JUCO? Is that Tommy?
Yep.
Alright, bye Tommy.
Bye, Tommy. Don't come back.
Okay,
Okay.
back to topic.
Anyway, no, JUCOs is very interesting. I actually want to work at JUCOs.
That's like a 2-year, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not like a 4-year here.
No. JUCOs are your community colleges, and that's what really interested me in the past couple of years. Or that I've noticed the past like 3 or 4 years, you get all these D1 talents that
You've got a lot of talent that actually goes into a JUCO, I will admit.
Yeah.
We basketball here, we've got a lot that come in that are typically JUCO, and they'll surprise you, but they don't always have the best background.
No,
For sure.
No, you have good kids, good talented kids that might have a keyword there's interesting.
Like I think it was number 2 or like Keelan that we had, like guard. He
Really?
kind of stocky build, could handle the ball really well. He could really surprise you. Definitely move the ball around, similar to how Phil Taylor used to.
Phil.
Have you revealed what school we're at?
No.
Okay, well they probably do now if they look at Phil Taylor.
Probably.
But definitely.
Surprise!
Definitely not as quick as Phil. I'll give Phil this. Phil definitely could take hits strategically, like get fouls strategically. I'll give Phil that. We had KJ Chambers, number 25, that can definitely do that.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. I miss sports.
I do too. But we'll get back to that in the.
But no. Oh, sorry.
We'll get back to the COVID thing and how that's going to affect it later on in this episode.
Yeah.
But right now, you want to talk about what, Devin?
I want to talk about the good old Washington Redskins because that's on everybody's mind these days.
Do you think it's offensive, or should they not change their name? What do you think?
Personally, I don't think it's offensive at all. I mean, the logo itself is not like, you know, there's a lot of, well, with any race, there's a lot of stereotypes.
Okay, what if it was called the Yellowskins? You shouldn't laugh at that. You're wrong for that.
Who's yellow? Oh yeah, they're mine. I know who's yellow.
Agents.
As soon as I said it.
Cultural appropriation is a thing that is going on right now. The whole police thing, defund the police, Black Lives Matter, that is a very large movement that is going on right now. And this will have a large effect on that. Wouldn't you agree?
I would say yes, but personally, I'm not offended by it. If they want to change the name, change the name. But of course, you know, you have this. This is one of the original NFL programs.
Do you know how much it's going to cost them to change the name?
No, it shouldn't cost them anything. Well, maybe.
$5 million.
Did you look it up? I think it cost them anything.
I actually did.
Is it the trademark?
Well, you got to do product, the whole stadium, and if they don't change the name, the stadium funded by FedEx, one of your favorite places,
Why you
will actually back out. They've already had several people back out if they refuse. I think the owner refuses to currently. That will be $5 million loss either way. It's either 10 or 5 if they don't change it. But it's a definite $5 million loss if they do change it.
Sheesh, I didn't think it was that much.
But you got to think of all the merchandise.
Yeah.
All the stuff in the stadium that you have to change. So much stuff. Online's not going to be as much, but you gotta think about all the products you already have that you're selling. You have to change that logo, and then you have a bunch of leftover stuff, which you still can sell as like memorabilia.
Yeah, vintage stuff.
Yeah.
It's okay. You know the Nike store
Yeah.
took down all the Washington Redskins stuff off their website.
Oh no, like what Adidas, all of them. No one's wanting to touch this.
No, NFL's only has all Nike stuff.
Like, no, like other companies are not wanting to touch this. Like a bunch of companies are backing out of their agreement with them because they don't want to be tied to this, especially in a time like this with Black Lives Matter, where they're taking down statues. They're not wanting to be involved with this because they don't want to get hurt. Similar thing with Starbucks, actually. Starbucks won't run the Black Lives Matter. They won't not allow any merch like that to be worn by the employees. But Pride stuff will be.
Didn't they support the refugees too?
They do. Last I checked, at least.
What a weird time to be alive.
It really is. Is there anything else in this article you would like to mention?
Maybe just a bunch of mumbo jumbo.
Run us through it, Devin.
Man.
This leads into the Braves, and we'll get to that once we touch on everything on the Washington's Redskins. Or what? Do you know what they'll be changed to?
That's a good question. I've heard multiple things, like something with red tail, something.
I heard Warriors, actually.
You heard Warriors?
I did.
I heard red tail. I heard red wolves this morning.
I heard that too on the news.
I think some.
Actually, in my paper this morning.
Yo, paper.
Look, I like reading the paper. I'm an old man at heart.
You are an old man.
You're not wrong.
I can't say anything. I read stuff off of Google. The little thing on your phone to the side.
I know what Google is, Devin.
No, like the Google articles. You know.
I do know what you're talking about.
I don't know how iPhone goes.
Google is actually. We talked about this in one of my episodes. Google is actually making people pay, or is actually having to pay for articles placed on its news feed, which is a double-edged sword. That can be complicated, but it's a similar situation to this, actually. Having to pay for branding, especially with so many people backing out like they are currently for the Redskins.
Okay, so this is what's ironic as I'm reading this article.
All right.
The logo was designed by a Native American in '71. And there's another thing. You know,
is this like the maple syrup thing, where the people get? Why are you laughing at maple syrup?
But you made me think about the lady.
Mrs. Butterworth, that's it.
Yeah, they're removing her too, apparently.
But her family are asking them not to because they get royalty checks from that.
Yeah.
This may be a similar thing.
Probably from that artist.
Which actually helped the family out a lot for Mrs. Butterworth.
Butterworth.
Why are you laughing at Butterworth so much?
It's just funny because me and Cakes were talking about it in Walmart, and I was like, do I need to grab a bottle of this before they remove her too? He's like, yeah, we need something.
How much pancakes are you actually eating, Devin?
Huh?
How much pancakes are you actually eating?
The 4 that was in the freezer.
Oh, just the 4?
Yeah, there's like 4 more.
You're living the dangerous life, my dude. All those carbs?
Yeah, that's how I put on 20 pounds.
I don't think that's how you put on 20 pounds. It's you and your girlfriend eating out so much.
We only eat out once a week.
Also, check out 2 Dead Ghouls.
Oh, yeah. Go check out 2 Dead Ghouls.
Gonna do the whole theme song, or just gonna leave it there?
No, I actually forgot it.
Okay.
I know,
Don't let her know that.
I used to be able to get it right on the spot because it's a rhythm, but I'm just like...
I know. You used to sing it on my podcast, The Random Hour.
Golly.
I didn't mean to plug in 2 podcasts right now.
It's okay. I mean, I haven't done one of my podcasts in months.
Alright, you want to move on to the Atlanta Braves now?
Yeah, so that's another thing.
The Atlanta Braves actually changed theirs a while back. No, they did. Because remember, it was originally a chieftain, their mascot. The Braves, I think, stayed the same. but their logo is a blue guy, Homie,
Let's Google it.
if I'm not mistaken. But they did change it like when we were kids,
I don't know. I was
back in the 90s.
Oh god, we're old Brave logos. Here we go. Or was it trying to type in mascot? Oh!
Yeah, it was a Native American. It was originally Native American.
Oh, okay. You know what?
That could be construed as offensive. But go to
Okay, yeah.
mascot, Bray's original mascot.
Okay, you know what? I could see how this one's offensive.
Yes,
Yeah.
but we need the name too. Oh yeah, that's offensive.
How's that offensive?
See that their new one's Homie.
It's Homie. I remember this guy.
It's a baseball head, and then
Oh shoot.
apparently there's Blooper now, and this green. No, that's the
So isn't that the Rome Braves? Meet Blooper.
Blooper. May be at the Rome Braves. That's a whole minor leagues, major leagues thing. Oh, he's got. Wait, go back down. There was a Game of Thrones thing. I'm a nerd.
Look, meet Blooper.
Yeah. No, that's the Atlanta Braves. That may be the new one, or a side one. The original, go up here. I think that was the Chieftain or something like that.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's offensive.
How-
Their original one was offensive.
How is this offensive? I mean, he's just got a big mouth.
That's a Native American blow-up head with a mohawk and earrings.
Yeah, I don't see how it's offensive.
That's offensive. That's a Native American used for novelty.
Oh.
It's-
Look, the green guy.
That's not in the Atlanta Braves, my dude. Wait, why is that at the Atlanta Braves? That's like the 80s, judging by that girl's hairstyle and that man's fashion.
There you go. Oh, there, Mom. Hey, look at Bloopy. Bloopy looks like a fat, overweight.
Would you like to explain the meme you're looking at
Oh,
for the
man.
audience that cannot see you currently?
Oh man, how do I describe old Bloopy? Bloopy looks like the skinnier version of Philadelphia's old fat green
He's also
guy.
the white version.
Oh, he just looks like a Looney Tune character. He low-key looks like a Looney Tune
They
character.
both look like Looney Tune characters.
Old Bloopy. I kind of want to meet Bloopy.
Hold up. I'm fairly certain that is a Looney Tunes character. Tim is texting you, by the way.
Oh god. Oh man, his grandfather passed away.
Oh, that's not good. Is that when he had a dentist appointment?
I think he had.
This
Well,
is My Little Pony and the Gorillas, the music band. Yeah, this is not. I could have sworn there's something like that in Looney Tunes, though. But you see how that could be Homer the Brave. It was his name. Okay? Let me look up names. Yeah, his name was Homer. He had a feather.
Homer.
Yeah.
Well, literally, there's a Simpson episode where Homer becomes a mascot.
Yes, you showed me it. We watched it together, actually.
Did I show you that episode? Man.
If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, you did. We watched it together on my Disney Plus.
I love me some Simpsons now.
But yeah, Homer was the original name.
I mean, it's just a big head.
It's a Native American head, dude. That's really offensive.
I mean, yeah, it's
We
very.
gotta move this over here so they can hear us both.
I mean, come on, but I like Bloopy. Look at Bloopy.
I like the baseball head one. I think that one works.
You think this one works?
The Braves definitely will have to change theirs because theirs was the mascot issue. They can definitely still do the tomahawk
Old homie's getting
as long as that's not like. Here's the thing about cultural appropriation that I have an issue with. Sometimes, okay, yes, it's wrong. But at the same time, if you forget the culture, you forget what it was. And America's just about run American or Native American history into the dirt. Like we literally used to hunt them, or America used to. General Custer and all of them.
I'm just watching Homer get choked out by Darth Vader during Star Wars days.
Chief, wait, go to that one.
Oh no.
Chief Nakahoma.
That's a Simpson parody. I didn't know this guy was. Holy cow! He used to shoot fire.
Tim, that's an actual thing. That is from the 70s by judging, or 70 or 80s, judging by the picture quality alone. And they used to have an actual chieftain that would come out, hired Chiva Nakahoma.
Oh, hold on.
Maybe they're original, but that's pretty offensive altogether.
Hold up. We about to Google good old Chief Nakahoma.
I'll hear Kiss Anime as one of your tabs.
Hey, I've been watching a lot of Naruto lately.
I know.
If you weren't here, I'd be watching it right now, to be honest.
Oh, he was a veteran.
Oh, yeah. Is he dead? I hope he's not dead.
Devin, this is before our time.
Oh. Chief Nakahoma! Lead the Braves, man. Lead the Braves.
Okay, so Chief Nakahoma was the original. Scroll down. Then they converted into Homer in 1966.
Alright, yep, that makes perfect sense. Wait, what is this photo?
That's him and his family.
Oh, okay, this grandfather.
Alright. And then, apparently after that, I don't know what year it transferred. Hold up, let me Google Braves history mascot. We should have done more planning on our part, but you know, we're working on it.
Yeah, you can always wing it here. I mean, we're loaded at work right now. We'll be up until 7 a.m.
Alright, so originally it was Chief Nakahoma.
Oh, it was.
And then Princess Winalada
Winalada.
in 1983.
Oh, 1 year.
Oh, then they retired that. Controversy. Russell Means is the original guy that did in 1972. Wait, Jewish. Nakahoma Means said, what if the Atlanta Germans, after Homa German dressed in military uniform, began hitting a Jew on the head with a baseball bat?
What? Hit a Jew with a baseball bat?
Apparently someone said that, and that was portrayed as by a Native American for a weak controversy raised. Apparently that was done by the Native American guy. I think Indians can be proud of their names and are used professional sport teams. This was said by the original actor of Nakahoma.
Nakahoma!
The ultimate Nakahoma survived the controversy. Okay, we're going to move that tab over here.
Oh, you can do that on Wikipedia?
Yes.
Mind blown.
Alright, so that was the original. Not Chief Nakahoma was the original. Then Princess Nakahoma in 1973, which was his daughter. His son took over the mantle, and then apparently controversy struck for the Atlanta Braves. And then eventually, around our time after the 80s and 70s, Homer, or the racist one, occurred, and then Homer changed in the early, late 90s, early 2000s. And then, apparently, the recent one is Bloopy?
Bloopy!
Which is like a side one, but they're still using Homer as the baseball head. I think I should add that. Homie went from the Native American head with the mohawk and the feather, which is actually very racist. You know why, Devin?
Because it's typical Native American with big head, pierced ears, and mohawk. And a big mouth.
How many tribes actually had feathers?
I don't think not that many, to be honest. I think
it wasn't a lot. There was about 2 at least that I know of.
My grandfather used to say something about it, but I know for like ceremonies, the big headdresses. I know for ceremonies.
There's actually very, very few tribes actually use that. We're gonna jump over to this though. Everything okay?
Yeah, I'm just.
We don't need to take a break.
Yeah, we might need to take a quick break. I don't want this segment to be too long. I like
do you
doing.
want to finish with the Native American mascot controversy, and then we'll be done?
Yeah, I mean, we're good. 20-minute break. I'll do what you do. Break it up in segments.
Yeah,
Chief,
I'm just closing tabs now.
Old Scooby Scoop.
Alright, we're just closing tabs, Devin.
All right.
Native American mascot controversy on
What?
Wikipedia.
Let's educate. Wikipedia. Such a great.
So, in terms of image referencing Native Americans and First Nations as the name of the mascot for the sports team is a topic of public controversy in the United States and Canada since 1960s. Okay, do you know about Canada?
No, I don't.
Okay, the beaver trade was very large in Canada, which resulted into a war at some point. This was like very early on in American history and French history. When French settlers started settling into Canada, and they would started trading, and then there became a racial thing where they started just killing them because they were different.
Sheesh.
And another odd thing is when they would depict Native Americans in pictures from Europe,
Mm-hmm.
they were often depicted as white because they didn't know anything other than white. Which you also run into the white man's agenda, which is not the best thing, especially in some places, such as Africa, which didn't end well. 1960s was a very big thing. Indigenous civil rights movement, where they became more prominent in franchises, Cleveland Indians, and protest target prominent use of such names. Cleveland Indians, Chief Wahoo.
Chief Wahoo.
You should not be hyping that up. Washington
It's just
Redskins. American English dictionaries often use derogatory slang when referring to these. Changes such as retirement of Native American names, mascots, and a wide array of schools started to decline in the 1970s. Widespread attention to systematic racism in 2020 has led to decision by Redskins to retire the name according to this site, which is Wikipedia.
Sheesh.
Would you like to read the next paragraph?
No.
I'm gonna have to keep reading, aren't I?
I'll read it. The issue is often. Wait, we're supposed to be talking about sports here.
This is.
Alright, good enough. This issue often describes the media and only in terms of offensive certain terms, imagery and performance to individuals of Native American heritage, which tends to reduce the problem to one's dealing's personal opinion. This prevents a more controversial understanding of history and context of use of Native words are hard, Native American names and imagery. And the reason why sports teams should eliminate the unutilized of such terms, social science research says that sports mascot images being mere entertainment, are important symbols than deeper psychological and social effects. The aggregate research on the harm done has led to over 115 professional organizations representing civil rights, education, athletic, scientific experiments, adopting resources, policies, and states that use Native American names and other symbols by non-Native American teams is a form of ethical stereotyping. So true. I actually studied that in sports. I actually did study that. And
Would you like to talk about that?
I mean, it's a double-edged bladed sword. It's like, yeah, all these logos are very, stereotypical, but at the same time, from a marketing standpoint, you want you want an image that's relatable. Something simple.
All right.
So it's stuff like that. So, yeah,
So- A lot of these. Okay, right here we start talking about the Braves. Lost it. I literally saw the word, but Braves, since football and baseball teams played Braves Field after Fenway Park, Boston Red Sox apparently were also derogatory. Okay, so I've been reading through this, and Devin's been reading that one paragraph. No offense, Devin, but you read very slow, and
I know.
you are my friend, and I care about you dearly. But I thought you may want to end the segment before 30.
Yeah, no, trust me.
A lot of it started out as representation, but due to dictionary and time period, a lot of it was derogatory terms, thus making it not really acceptable and not really good representation. You run into the issues where you're just using it for a name and don't really give it a good meaning. And the civil rights movement, especially in the 1999 NAACP, had its way with removing a lot of it. Especially in 2012, the United Nations also deemed this very not the best thing to do. Especially with teams that may qualify for Olympics, like in basketball. A lot of teams in Canada and such are stepping away from that, and hockey and all that. It has a very bloody history where a lot of them were deemed different because they weren't white. And I think you can say this because I'm primarily Irish in descent, and I'm a mix of white nations, but mostly Irish. And you have large ties to Native American history.
Like 1/16. But it might
not as much as I was intentionally or originally thought to believe, but okay.
Well, we did some deep family digging, so both sides of my family has Native American in them. So I think I'm 1/16-ish. I know on my dad's side we came off the Mayflower, and then
we've been here since my family's been here since the American Revolution, and we actually fought in it. Captain James Kell.
Yeah. So I mean, what was I supposed to?
I don't think we as individuals can completely encapsulate what should be said. I think approach from the opposite side should be done. The Native American more potent than, no offense, Devin, than you.
That's fine.
Because you believe it's not completely offensive as long as no derogatory terms are done.
Yeah.
And that's important to remember. A lot of the early stuff used by these were not racially correct or correct between stereotype. It was very stereotype based. Like, it wasn't being properly represented and stereotypical, and a lot of racial things went into this.
Mm-hmm.
Originally, it has gone away from this. Braves won't change the name. Redskins are on the fence. The owner refuses to, but if they don't, they're going to be losing so much money by sponsors.
I like the Washington Wolves. Honestly, that just sounds cooler.
Well, okay, other than Wolves, because I think Warriors would actually be a pretty cool name.
Yeah, but I mean, you got the the Warriors in the NBA. I just like how I can't think of their San Francisco.
The Golden State Warriors.
Golden State. I'll just say I'm having a giant brain fart.
It's okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, bro. When I think Warrior, I think Golden State Warriors. Washington Warriors doesn't sound right.
Wolves is it Coyotes or Wolves in hockey?
Google that. There might be an NHL team, the Wolves. Hockey.
I should not just search hockey.
Hockey Wolves. Oh, they're the
Chicago Wolves.
Yeah, they're the Las Vegas minor league team, or the American Hockey League.
Okay, that's not as bad. They could do Wolves. But is that more racist if they do change it to Wolves?
No.
Because that's well, here's the thing. They change it to Wolves. That's systematic racism.
How?
Well, they're cultural appropriation of things related to that culture. Thus, you're just using that instead.
All right, Warrior. That's fine. Warrior. Just Washington Warriors.
Warriors could go anyway. That's why I like it. You could do Vikings. You could do Spartans.
Washington Warriors doesn't sound right. Now the Washington Red Tails or Wingtail. That sounds pretty cool.
That sounds more like a bird, though.
I mean,
that doesn't really strike fear into your enemy's heart. Isn't that what you want to do in football? I haven't played football. I'm too small.
I mean, you just want something intimidating, but like the Washington Red Tails, because they want to do it. There was something going around. You know the.
What animal is a red tail hawk?
No, it's a plane.
Red tail hawk.
No, it's a plane. It was based off of the first African American flight team that called themselves Red Fox, I think.
Okay,
I think it's Red Fox.
that's not as bad, but at the same time, you run into the issue, cultural appropriation and cultural issues that could occur where slang terms could be used to derogatory the name.
Yeah.
You run into that issue, definitely.
Yeah, I feel you.
I like something as simple as the Warriors because you can do Spartans, Vikings, Celts. There's so many different warriors that you could use or utilize for that could step away from racism. Once again, systemic racism. A lot of those have cultural appropriations to be white, which aren't, such as Spartans and many of the Middle Eastern area that could occur. But the Celts and what you would think of the Boston Celtics, which I don't get why are not called Celtics.
I thought they were called the Baltic Celtics. No, they're Celtics.
It's Celtics, and I don't understand why.
Bro,
That's Irishmen.
I remember half the time, I remember calling them Celtics too. Because
It makes more sense. It's a cultural appropriate name
well, Boston Celtics.
that they're based off of,
Celtics,
which also have a long history of racism. Not as the Irish people, but as America has with them.
Oh, no, it's
With
one.
the Irish and the Italian, that's a whole different melting pot. But we're not going to deal with them in this episode.
Man, well, that's just another thing. It just Celtics rolls off the tongue, like Boston Celtics.
Does it though?
Yeah, listen, the Boston Celtics. Celtics.
Do you hear yourself?
Yeah, Celtics.
The Boston Celtics
The Boston
is
Celtics.
what you sound like.
No, Celtics. Shut up! I can't pronounce my S's.
I'm the one with the lisp.
Do you think I need to go back to speech therapy?
You too? We'll go together.
Come on, let's go.
We're shook on it. All right. I think that's a good spot to end this segment.
All right, yeah.
We can take a break and collect ourselves for the next segment.
Why'd you do the jazz hands? Like we're sitting here in a studio, just.
No, I was like calm ourselves. You know what? Never mind.
Never mind. All right.
They can't see me. They can't see me flicking you off.
Oh, come on, bro. Why you gotta be so hostile?
Because
Boston
this is a
Celtics.
very hostile subject, and we need to keep an open mind.
Also, if hockey comes back, I want to go watch these guys.
Hockey is amazing. I used to play street hockey. I almost lost an eye, but hey, I'm a really good goalie.
I'm telling you, bro. Las Vegas.
I'm a very aggressive goalie.
Wait, hold up. What is their crap? What is there?
Chicago.
Is it the Las Vegas Warriors?
That's what I
Las
was thinking.
Vegas Golden Knights.
Phoenix Coyotes is what I was originally thinking of.
Oh, they're part of the
Sabretooths?
yeah, the Sabretooths American League team. That's what you're thinking of.
Wait a minute. Who are they?
That is that's the Blackhawks. Hold up, I think it's the Blackhawks.
Yeah, they may have to change their symbol too.
Oh, they'll get to it eventually. It's hockey. It's not real popular down here in the South in America and the.
It may be, but you're about to go to Iowa. That's going to be a lot more popular.
Yeah.
It's a lot more fun of a sport than football, no offense.
Hey, that's fine.
On my personal opinion, I grew up playing soccer and basketball and hockey, street hockey mostly. I almost lost an eye. It was fun. I'm a really good goalie. I also played Quidditch once, Devin.
All right, no, we're not going down that road. We're not going down that.
You don't want to talk about Quidditch?
No, we're not talking about Harry Potter and the.
You don't want to talk about how you're a Slytherin?
No.
Hey, if you want to check that episode out, you can go on to the Random Hour. And we have an episode called You're a Wizard, Devin.
Freaking edge.
And you can figure out what houses we are. You just figured out what Devin was by how he acted. But you can find out what I am.
People coming back. Anyway, yeah. We're gonna take a quick break and we'll be back momentarily. Record, and we're back.
Alright, we're going to do this quick. Tom Brady.
Oh yeah, good old Tom Brady.
Your favorite man.
Man.
Man of the year, you could say.
Yeah, totally man of the year. Fluke. I'm
Really?
kidding.
What do you have to say about him?
No, Tom Brady, you know, he's earned everything he's received. Or
Has he?
yeah, I mean, look, he has pretty good work ethic.
No, I want to hear you say it. Because I know how much you hate him.
Oh, you just want me to go on a Tom Brady rant?
Yeah.
How much I just hate Tom Brady?
No, how much you love Tom Brady.
I just love him so much.
Man of the year, my boy.
Man of the year, just
Oh, yeah.
man. When I grow up, I want to be just like Tom Brady.
Does that hurt you to say?
What?
Does that hurt you to say that?
A little bit.
I figured, honestly.
But-
what would you like to actually say about Tom Brady?
You know, I think it's gonna be
What has happened to Tom Brady?
he's over at Tampa. I've been wanting to talk about this for a while, but the whole COVID thing, it's just like, let's see what happens.
There's a lot you can talk about with this.
I mean, he's another guy. He's going to go. And I think everybody thinks they're going to win the Super Bowl this season, but I think mediocrely, they're going to be.
Right.
They're going to be
What team is he playing for now, though?
Tampa Ray Buccaneers.
Oh, Buccaneers?
Yeah.
I thought it was more Midwest, but okay.
Tampa.
I honestly don't know football.
Tampa Bay
Basketball,
Buccaneers.
though.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I almost said Bucks, but that's the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah, that's Milwaukee. I
Milwaukee.
even knew that.
I almost said Milwaukee Bucks. Huh. Stupid. Huh. Wrong organization. But no, that was a big shock to me. What I'm curious to know what happened in that meeting room with Bill Belichick and good old Tom Brady and the owner. What's the owner's name?
You know more about football than me, boy.
I know. I can't think of the owner's name right now, which that's gonna bother.
Tom Brady?
No, the owner.
Bill Brady?
No,
Joe Brady?
no,
Douglas Brady?
it's not Douglas Brady.
I'm gonna keep listing out names so you get it right.
It's God. I can't think. I can see his images in my head, but
Caesar Brady.
it's not his last
The
name.
first of his name.
It's not Brady.
Edgar Brady.
It's not. His last name's not.
Eugene Brady.
It might be Eugene. It might be.
I'm not listing out all the possibilities of Eugene, okay?
Oh man, but no. I don't know. Everybody's hyped about Tampa. A bunch of you Patriot fans are turning into Tampa Buccaneer fans. So
Alright, this is an opinion based, but okay.
I'm just saying, it's like in the Homer Simpson meme where he goes into the bushes with Tampa Bay with the Patriot stuff, and he just goes in the bushes with Tampa gear on.
I do not remember this.
You don't remember that meme? I thought I sent it to you.
Maybe. Are you sure the Buccaneers?
Yeah. Joel Glazer.
There you go, you finally got it.
That's the owner of Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Eugene, though?
I thought it was Eugene.
Well, it came to you eventually.
He looks like a Eugene. That's probably what I thought Eugene. Look at him.
I mean, he does kind of look like Eugene.
He looks like he looks like a.
Buccaneers ownership by at a glance, ESPN.com, March 18th, 2015. Majority owners Brian Glazer and Joel Glazer, pictured at right. Ed Glazer, son of the late Malcolm Glazer, Source Wealth sports team. So they're all part of the Glazer family, basically.
I didn't even know that.
They're all bald. They look like the stereotypical mold character in most like animated movies. You can't say I'm wrong. Look at that picture.
Bruh, look, just because they're all.
Look at that face.
Jesus.
You mean he's wearing sunglasses?
How nice would it be to grow up and have a family that owns the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? You know how psyched I'd be?
I imagine we'd be very psyched on any sports team that wasn't involved with who? Tom Brady. That's who.
I don't know. Everybody thinks they're gonna win the Super Bowl. I think they're gonna be mediocre and miss the playoffs by like one game.
One game? That's a
No, you know, like in the hunt. You know what I'm saying?
like Final Four maybe. That's what you're thinking of, right? They're gonna be close but hit the mark.
Yeah.
Did you know in archery the term sin actually meant hit the mark by just a tiny bit?
Wow.
That's actually what the Bible was talking about. Sorry to bring Bible into this, but
It's all good.
the original translation, actually. But what do you think about this? How do you think their prediction will be since having Tom Brady?
I mean, everybody's hype. I mean, they have other guys on that roster, like that one wide receiver that's extremely well. I can't think of his name right now. I mean, like they've got good overall teams. Like they're a good overall team, and just having Brady in the mix just makes them better. But honestly, they got Kroskowski too, that huge tight end Gronk. I totally forgot that. You remember hearing about that?
I don't know much about football, then.
Chris Godwin, yeah, all these guys like Chris Godwin, Brian Mitchell,
Mike Evans,
like good.
Richard Perriman.
Yeah, like the Tampa's, they've not recruited, but they drafted
Yeah.
a pretty good receiver core, and with Brady, with his ethic, it'll be interesting. But I don't know
I
about.
will admit, I don't know much about football, but he can really spot the field well and be able to travel the ball where it needs to go.
It's called vision, QB vision.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm not very big on football. That's not why you recruited me to this podcast, my dude. I was the football or basketball aspect.
I'm helping you out, Kyle. I'm growing your
Soccer
knowledge.
and hockey, and Also, did you ever figure out where the Redskins were?
Oh, you're talking about earlier? Yeah, it was the Chicago Blackhawks. I remember we talked about it already.
Yeah, you're right.
That's what it threw me off because I knew there was another Indian team in hockey. Blackhawks.
Why did you say it like that?
It's apparently a Chicago thing.
Chicago?
Chicago.
Hey, Morgan here. You mean like that?
Pretty much. I can't.
You offended somebody in that.
I can't do the
You know what I
Chicago.
find weird? You have an older demographic than me.
Huh?
You have an older demographic than me.
I guess people just like my opinion.
You also have more views than me, and I have more episodes. I put a lot more effort into mine, and I don't understand it. Would you say it's because of sports? That's fair. What else did you want to talk about?
Let's see. Good old Brady. Man, we went on a 30-minute rant about all this Washington Redskins stuff. I did not expect to go on that.
Hey, it's important to understand the cultural aspects that could be implied, especially with the Black Lives Movement.
That is true.
A lot of things are changing, and hopefully for the better. We want to hope for the better, don't we?
Yeah, of course. We don't need a civil war.
Yeah, we don't need another civil war. Civil War number 2.
Facts.
That's been actually plaguing Africa for a while. The civil wars. A lot of people have died in that. Have you researched that at any?
No, I haven't. We're not going on that rant.
That's fair. Do you know why?
Why?
Because we're on sports.
Exactly. We ain't going on no
Speaking of Hawaii!
Hawaii. Where you get Hawaii? Oh, yeah, because we're on old Scoop, football Scoop.
Yep.
Quick ad. Quick ad, even though this is an ad. Football Scoop. Read all the fascinating articles on high school and college athletics. And if you're looking for a job, those are there too.
Would you like to give a run through?
Of how the website works?
I was going to say on the articles that you see in front of you, but if you want to give an idea how the article works, educate them.
Nah, what was the one article? Like, a lot of things. I'm sorry, that threw me off. A lot of things that I've noticed, and this is where I think is going to happen this year.
Go for it.
One thing, I remember what it was. A lot of things we've all noticed the past few days, like all these Division I colleges are canceling their fall sports. And
I think I can imagine why.
I mean, we're in the middle of a pandemic.
Pandemic. I'll add the science side if that helps.
No.
I mean, we will in a minute. We're going to touch on the coronavirus and how it affects sports and how we think it may momentarily, but we're going to move past that currently. As you can imagine, this is going to affect social distancing, especially physical sports such as football, hockey,
soccer.
The sad part is only one sport I could see that it could be in season is baseball for some weird reason to an extent.
You know, I see that. That's a very spread
That's
out
the
sport.
that's the only softball and baseball. Are the only,
Cricket, maybe.
that's a big maybe. I
But
mean,
that's more of an European stance. Although you do have a lot of followers in Ireland, was it?
yeah, I think so.
That's fair.
America. But no, it's just, I think what we're all about to happen. I mean, I hate to do this. I hate for it to be happening for me because as much as
We'll touch more on the pandemic in a minute. I have studied ecology and science, and I have recently taken microbiology. I promise we'll touch on this in a minute. We're going to focus more on
oh my goodness,
Scoop.com.
football scoop.
Footballscoop.com, more accurately. The dash scoop slash. Would you like to take over here?
Yeah, I'm gonna take over, but no. So, like what we were trying to say was, it's about to be interesting. We might as well just go ahead and dive into the pandemic because,
You want to?
yeah, we might as well. I mean, it was our last subject,
Okay.
but
It's going to be a long subject. Do you want to space this out at all?
nah, we can just do one whole recording. That way, I ain't having to sit there later. And,
My captain, absolutely.
yep.
Alright, so basically, this virus, from a scientific standpoint, typically spreads from social contact, airborne pathogens. So, as far as I am from you, Devin,
No,
and you're covering your face with a hat. Okay. So basically, it's airborne pathogens close by, at least 6 feet. Typically, like a common cold or the flu would be passed, because it is a variation of the flu, and this is highly contagious. And one person was charged at least $1 million in medical bills for being cured of it.
What?
I'm not making that up. Devin, on my honor, I wish I was making this up. One guy was cured of it, and he was charged at least $1 million in medical bills, and the memes that came from it aren't the best because it mostly depicted him killing himself, which is not a okay thing to be, advertised. But this is a very costly cure to be curing. It's unseen. There's at least 3 to 4 strands currently. I have kept up with it. There's at least 3 or 4. One which affects people our age currently, which is newer. Another affects felines and canines alike. Most mammal animals. So, stationwide, many schools are forcing people to wear masks while they're going to school. And as college sports progress, we need to wear masks and social distance. Our school isn't the best that we're currently at about this because the halls aren't even 6 feet apart.
No.
A lot of issues can occur in close space proximity. And whilst I know my major, at least, if you miss class, you miss class. They're not really going to make it up for sports, anything. Some teachers maybe, but with athletics, they're not the most accommodating. Definitely yours are more than me. No offense. You're literally athletics, and that is what they need to cater to. But with us, with science, they don't cater to us as much. With athletics, being a basketball manager, from what I've seen, they're lacking. So if you get sick or anything like that, you get a estimated number of misses, and then that's donezo. You fail the class. Would you say that's similar to how you run things in your department, Devin?
Yeah, I mean, like some professors back then, like the sports professors understood, but the business ones didn't. They were complete
A-holes,
yeah,
for lack of a better term.
pretty much. But no, Antonio, get back on traffic. I think, like some schools have already moved their stuff to spring.
Yep.
I think that's what's going to happen.
How do you think this is going to affect sports like that aren't spring sports, like basketball, football?
They're just going to start in spring.
But how will the temperature variation affect playing?
Look, it's going to be hot. It's going to be cold. We're just
All
going
right.
to fight through it.
I don't want to be offensive, but you have a sport where a lot more people are heavy set. And as a science major, I know that fat traps heat much better. Animals with more fat can trap heat better, and that heat has a harder time dispersing because of that fat. Because that fat traps heat, and ultimately makes people overheat and have issues. How do you think that's going to affect your sport?
Probably going to have a lot of water.
Water isn't always the solution. Cramps can occur.
No, we're just going to have to adapt. I mean,
You will have to adapt, but how do you think that will affect the heavier set linemen that have to be that barrier?
Bro, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? It's already hot right now. They're spring ball and summer ball. Like this ain't their first.
I mean, this
version.
isn't baseball we're talking about. This is football.
Oh, I know. Hey, we're gonna take a quick break. All right, let's wrap this episode up because it's been long enough.
All right, so I think contact sports are going to become more difficult as they progress. You have more barriers, but I mean, sports like rugby, and such like that are gonna, and hockey are gonna become more difficult. You're gonna have to make more barriers, but I think football, you have a lot of padding already.
Yeah.
I mean,
God, we gotta disinfect it too. God.
there's face masks already that are available to you. There's more available, but non-contact sports are a more difficult subject
Yeah.
because you're gonna have to incorporate masks, incorporated by the schools, and then frequent testing with trainers and such.
That's like weird. I was talking to Evan. He thinks there's gonna be. They're probably gonna test them like before every game or
I mean,
every
they
day.
have to.
They have, yeah.
With how much it costs to treat this, it's a difficult thing. We're in the middle of a plague, and it typically happens every 20 years. Every, like, 2020, 1920, you name it. A plague happens frequently. And we have to adapt to it from a microbiology standpoint and find new ways to fight this. Yes, we can fight this, but it's not the easiest way to. We have to adapt and grow as science does, and so does sports. New methods of treating this have to be incorporated into the sports method as we advance in it. Yes, one day it's going to get back to normal, and there's going to be a vaccine for it, but we got to evolve with it in the sports method. Like right now, we gotta figure out vaccines. Like the flu virus, there's like 4 to 5 different strands that that nurses and doctors will vaccinate for, and still that's a gamble. They alternate those. They alternate those to where we try to adapt which one we think may be more likely to treat the patient with, and still that's not 100% correct. A lot of the times they don't vaccinate the right one, and thus the patient gets sick. They had to fight it, but our immune system is built up enough to where we don't die. This is a new flu. We don't 100% know how to treat it. We're still working on cures. There's about 3 or 4 different strands of it as we currently progress. It's going to be similar to swine flu because it's of a mammalian trait. But once again, there's different genetics that factor into the treatment of this, and we're trying to progress. We're trying our hardest, but sports are going to have to, I don't want to say be on the back burner. It's going to be on a little bit until we progress enough to where it's void. Similarly to the Spanish flu.
Yeah.
Swine flu, it's going to take a little bit to get back to normal. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, that's like all these sports brought, like, I was just reading JUCO, the JUCO organization just pushed football to spring, so I'm pretty sure every organization, NAIA, D2, D3, they're all about to push it back, so.
How do you think this will affect, like, people that do multiple sports at once, like volleyball and
They're just gonna have to.
basketball?
They're just gonna have to pick. I mean, if they're on scholarship, which I know some of our guys, we'll put them on track. They'll get small track money too, more like 50-50. They're just gonna have to pick sport.
How do you think this will affect performance levels?
Everybody's gonna be tired. Everybody's gonna be busy, but we're all gonna be okay.
How long do you think what do you project will be the possible time that we'll have to get back to normal?
I have no clue.
I think maybe 5 to 10 years.
Oh, you think we're gonna have this
I
virus?
don't think it's going to be instant, but I think it's going to take a little time. Especially with people that, with the riots, all the things that are happening, you're going to have to factor that in.
True.
It's on the rise currently. Maybe not where we are, but Florida, Texas, it's boomed in.
How'd that happen? Anything happen in Texas?
They
before?
opened the bars. Plus, you can't really, as Southerners, can you tell Southerners anything?
No.
That's an important part. So, if you grew up in a town, small town, you can't tell us much of anything. I wish that wasn't true. I wish where we were was more educated. But at the times, in a small town, you're not as educated, and that comes into play. Like we said with the JUCOs, minimum education can ultimately factor into the big playoff of how you perform and such like that. Wouldn't you agree or disagree?
I agree.
Okay. Anything else you would like to add, Devin?
Nope. It's time to end this episode.
What about where we live? The mask in public. It's
Oh.
been enforced.
Yeah. Bottom line, wear your mask. Save lives.
No. The legal system has enforced that it's mandated to mask in public. Where we live currently, before you move, I don't know how Iowa is, but
Oh, I'm wearing a mask.
I know you're wearing a mask. We went out in public earlier, and what did I do?
You threw on your mask.
Yep.
Who didn't have a mask? This guy.
Hey, well, we won, but I ended up
That
breaking it.
snapped like, oh man.
It snapped like snap, crackle, and pop.
It really did. I heard a snap.
I was like, well, dang. I felt really bad. I was like, you really wanted to go to Kroger, and I know that.
Oh well. Bottom line, guys, wear a mask, practice social distancing.
If we're smart about this, it will end quicker. But we need to be smart and educated and understand how this virus spreads. Would you agree?
I agree.
Are you just agreeing, or are you just...
No, I agree. I mean, like, this is all going on long enough. Like, everything should be back to normal by now.
Anything you would like to add?
Nope. Oh, hey, you gotta go listen to Kyle's podcast, The Random Hour. I made a couple of special appearances on there.
Alright. What else did you do? Do I have a email or something?
Oh, if you guys want to send him questions or send questions for my podcast, feel free at, what's the email?
random.hour.cast@gmail.com. We'll be open to either Devin's request or my request. I'll get in contact with him. We're close friends, honestly. We keep in contact. We have a Snapchat streak,
Of
which he
200.
spelled 3 or 4 times.
We pick it back up.
You pick it up sometimes. But please be safe.
That's
Please
what
be smart, especially with sports.
we need them.
It's a very important part, especially for schooling. Wouldn't you agree?
Very much so.
How much does it typically bring in for schooling?
Oh, well, millions.
Money-wise.
Millions. Thousands.
What's the top 3, Devin?
Men's basketball, women's basketball, and football.
That is correct, and that's like not in the right order, but hey, I'll take it.
I mean, it's
It's football, men's basketball, the women's basketball.
Yeah, that-
Honestly, unless you're like Lee, which
Man.
women's basketball is first.
Man, Bump League. Burning flames, my butt. Tell them to come to our court.
So basically, our school has a rivalry. Started by our school, by the women's basketball team, which was basically coached by Medea at the time.
Facts.
We don't have time to go over all of that, but what other podcast can we probably find us on?
Oh, you can find us on. Oh, you can also go support our friend over at Two Dead Ghouls
And the Random Hour.
and the Random Hour.
Oh, there goes the safety car.
All
All right, Devin.
Here comes
I think
Devin.
it's time.
All right, y'all have a good day.